Hey Nando, company. My name is Noah Luker and I run a production company called Blank Slate Productions. I specialize in freelance videography and editing, as well as script consultation. On top of that, I'm what you would call moderately obsessive, fanboyish, extra in every single way. And a lot of that comes down to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, specifically. I'm absolutely floored by the way that Feige and crew are pioneering this new mode of storytelling. Very subtle and also very bombastic ways of kinetic action storytelling. And so today for my one marvelous scene submission, I just finished my MCU binge leading up to Endgame, so naturally the first thing on my mind is Avengers Infinity War. I've just finished compiling a sort of breakdown myself of every single individual MCU film leading up to Endgame, analyzing its merits as a film solely based on its screenplay. All of which you'll find in the next coming days on my website, noahluker.com. I don't mean to plug, but I do screenplay analysis journals bi-weekly, and it really helped me out if you checked it out. But to borrow something that I said in there that I think was very poignant, I wanted to analyze the scene between Thanos and Scarlet Witch at the very end. I call it the moment that explains why Thanos truly wins. So let's dive into that. And to answer a question, no, I do not have the time, nor patience, nor legal footing to use actual footage, so this is about as good as you're gonna get. Okay, to quote me, Infinity War is simultaneously a masterclass in structuring event films, building off the interconnectivity principle, and a prime example of efficiency in storytelling. By narrowing the goal of each scene down to something very tangible, the conflict of the scene is allowed to not be surface level, focusing more on what the characters stand for and what they fall for, to steal a quote from Hamilton. For example, the question asked on Nowhere of Peter isn't, can he get the stone? It's, can he make a sacrifice for the greater good? Later on Titan, Peter faces another question, can he test his rage and impatience when he learns of Gamora's fate? Action reveals character. That is so important in efficient storytelling. Everything in this film derives from Thanos. I mean, honestly, admit it, his plan is lame and has a lot of holes in it, but what makes him so compelling is that despite any alternatives, he remains steadfast in his mission. His conviction and self-driven madness that he is a savior on this religious mission makes him practically morally unstoppable, and he doesn't even want to kill anybody that he doesn't have to. His ego and that need to fulfill or justify himself after the decimation of Titan makes him into some infallible, almost morally just machine. It makes the Avengers and Guardians look completely fallible because they choose not to sacrifice those that they love. Sympathetic villains don't need a tragic backstory. What they need is a mission that conflicts with their moral values, but in the end, overpowers them. Which overpowers the other is the difference between the protagonist and the antagonist. Talking about those protagonists, each is placed in a near exact same scenario where they must sacrifice part of themselves. For Star-Lord, that is Gamora. For Scarlet Witch, it is Vision. For Gamora, it is the map to the Soul Stone. For Nebula, for Doctor Strange, it's the Time Stone. For Thanos, it's Gamora, etc. Only those with the will to make the sacrifice are victorious in their scenes. After all, as Wong said, attachment to the material is detachment from the spiritual. When you're setting up the first 10 minutes of your film, you want to stick your thesis statement in there. You don't want to just kind of meander, and that's what I believe that statement is. Back to Gamora's sacrifice, that spells this out perfectly. She says that their relationship between she and Thanos isn't love, and that's true. That's why he's able to sacrifice her. Thor wins because, quote, as he says himself, what more can he lose? He is goal-oriented in this film, much like Thanos. However, he put his anger and lust for revenge against Thanos over completing his mission, and that is where he failed. Every choice leading up to that pivotal moment gave Thanos every advantage. Every sacrifice that the characters refused to make gave Thanos the morally high ground. So no matter what Scarlet Witch did with Vision, regardless of whether she was too late or not, Thanos was already going to win based on the principles already set up throughout the rest of the film. The film deep down is a character study. It holds a lens up to each individual character and tests their deepest flaws, asking what is the line that they will not cross. It asks a new question for a new age of heroes, in a time where heroes are divided and are left to their own devices. no longer abiding by a single unified force like S.H.I.E.L.D. or the Avengers team. That's the power of the event film. And to think it was all brought about by some purple maniac that just wanted to prove that he was right. So that meandered a little bit more than I was expecting. Anyway, every time I look at a film in its entirety, I always try to break it down into the simplest construct, which is usually its theme. It is the driving device which motivates every single character action, which pivots every single story beat towards a certain destination. And Infinity War asks a very poignant question that both asks our heroes and asks our audience, what do you put above all else, and what does that say about you individually? As the first chapter of a 2-act saga, concluding with Endgame, it sets up the lie that the character, or in this case protagonist, that being Thanos, believes that sacrificing love makes him a more morally just person. It was the ultimate test for our heroes. It was the ultimate defining moment. And now, we just get to see the follow-through of it. That's pretty much all I had to say. I know I kind of rambled a bit, but I think you can tell my excitement is permeating through me at every waking moment as I get closer and closer to seeing this film. All right, well, thank you to everyone that watched that little incoherent spiel. Once again, my name has been Noah Luker. You can find me on my website, noahluker.com. It should be launching within the next week or so. It's very fun, very exciting. On there, you'll find my very first post, which is the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe ranked and reviewed under the basis of their screenplays. I'm beyond stoked to take this one small step into a much larger, brave new world, just as Marvel's about to do the exact same thing. Well, and for plug's sake, all of my information is on the screen right now, so if you like what I do and you want to see more, have at it. I'll give you more. Thank you very much to Nando or whoever may come across this. Don't spoil the end game.